Today's video, we're going to re-examine the recent video I dropped on Michael Saylor and his proof of reserves allocation that he made at the Bitcoin conference, because I'm wondering if this recent video by Simply Bitcoin is actually spreading FUD about that exact same topic. So stay tuned.
Bitcoin is booming. Are you cashing in or missing out? At Drip2BTC, we're rewriting the rules of Bitcoin investing. Earn up to 30% ROI on your deposits, unlock incredible Bitcoin discounts, and transform credit into up to 3,000% APR growth. No hassle, just real results. Don't wait, your future is one deposit away. Drip2BTC.com. Invest smart today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. So if you didn't catch the clip, I'm not going to play it for you, but it was on YouTube, and actually, I'm sorry, it was on X, because it was done at the Bitcoin conference that they're having right now, where someone from the audience asked Michael Saylor if they ever plan on publishing proof of reserves. I made my video here about that, and this video from Simply Bitcoin just came out 20 hours ago about the same thing. And it has me wondering if I'm looking at this through the wrong lens, and or is there something really there that needs to be analyzed? I want to get you guys' take, but I personally feel they went a little harsh, and to me are blowing this up bigger than what it really is. So I'm just going to play the clip from them, and then I want to get you guys' take on this, and then also what the implications are if this is true or not true.
About this, of course, the Bitcoin well is for. Holy crap! Is Michael Saylor buying fake Bitcoin? Get ready, my friends, because we have a big one today. Friend of the program, Mitchell hodl'n, just asked Saylor if MicroStrategy has any plans to publish proof of reserves. And his answer might just blow your off. Welcome back, I'm Rustin, and we're in Vegas for Bitcoin 2025, and it may be time to just ask ourselves, we are staring at one of the biggest financial scandals in history. Are we looking at an infinite money glitch, or are we looking at an infinite paper Bitcoin disaster waiting to happen? But let's find out. Send it!
All right, so just the intro there, like, is this an infinite money glitch or a scandal? So both of those don't exactly have positive connotations. So yeah, I'm going to save my reservations for after this. And again, I want to know you guys' take on it. And then also I have a theory about, regardless of what happens to the price of Bitcoin. So let's go to, I'm not going to play the clip from Michael Saylor again and his answer. Instead, we're going to play the response from the team here. Yeah, here we go.
Told you it was a doozy. So here we are. I am here with Adam O'Brien, CEO and founder of the Bitcoin Well. Adam, what is going on with Giga Chad? What were your thoughts when you heard that this morning?
Dude, it felt a little bit like a LARP. It felt a little bit like our hero. Slay your heroes, ladies and gentlemen. Slay your heroes. I think that what Saylor is saying, he's so used to talking to companies, and he's now entering the space of individuals. He's entering the sovereignty space, entering the individual rights and freedom space, and he's not talking to us as if we deserve individual rights and freedoms. I think it's dangerous, personally, that narrative, that, especially, first of all, it's wrong. Obviously, proof of reserves, public answers, does not compromise any security. So I think that we need to counteract this FUD. I would call this FUD at best. And I think that it's, it's disappointing to see. Obviously, everyone looks at Saylor as a leader in the space, and disappointing to see that way.
100%. And just like you were saying, I had Bitcoin Archive, and he was kind of like trying to pump the brakes on this. And he thinks Saylor gave a reasonable response. And I'm like, I try to look at that and I say there is the one aspect, and that would be, it goes back to like the Coinbase and the social engineering attack and what happened there. So is he trying to lean on that? But is that an actual benefit to a public company not publishing your proof of reserves, or is it a way of LARPing to not be transparent or open or actually verify anything?
Yeah, I think it's probably an excuse that someone somewhere gave him, or that he gives his board, or that he is giving, obviously not to the market. I think it's going to fool the uneducated. I do personally believe it is a LARP. I have been feeling foul from the Saylor style of strategy for a little while. I think this paper Bitcoin game is dangerous. You guys have heard me before. I'm obviously an advocate for real Bitcoin, not paper Bitcoin. And I do believe that this, all in all, this is a net negative for Bitcoin. Even with the buying pressure, even with all the good Bitcoin publicity, I think that more FUD out there about self-custody is a net negative long-term.
100%.
So that's where I want to stop it. So they go on a little bit longer, but that's what I want to ask the question to you guys. Do you think this is a net negative for Bitcoin? And do you also believe that Michael Saylor was quote unquote LARPing? And do you believe this is FUD? So firstly, I'm going to start off by saying I don't believe Michael Saylor is stating or has ever gone on record stating, I could be wrong, about being against self-custody. So in this regard of how he's running his business and what he's chose to do, none of us are multi-billionaires. Well, if you're watching my channel, I'm sure you're not, but you could, maybe you are, that are operating Fortune 500 companies within the US and all the legislation and regulation of stuff that has to be done there. So from that perspective, I can't really say what should be done in regards to quote unquote proof reserves for Michael Saylor. But I don't believe he's actually stating on here in this clip or ever that he's against self-custody. So I don't know where they got that from, as if this was kind of advocating for not holding your own crypto. I don't believe that's what Michael Saylor is saying or has ever said. So I feel like they kind of swayed the argument in that regard. And then number two, like I said, for a company like him and doing the taking the debt and selling it and all that stuff, like all these different things that he has to do. I don't know how that works if you had to self-custody it. So maybe you can self-custody some of it. Maybe you have to have it on exchange that they trust due to securities laws. Like, I have no idea how that works out. But he did, in the clip, state that they have a top-tier auditing firm. They're governed by Sarbanes-Oxley and all these other government regulations that guarantee that they actually do have the Bitcoin that they say they have. So it is a trust me, bro approach because we can't see it on the blockchain. But here's where, again, I feel like Simply Bitcoin just blew it out of proportion and saying it's FUD. Let's go with the absolute worst case scenario that Michael Saylor is buying paper Bitcoin. He doesn't hold a single Satoshi at all. He has only receipts from Coinbase per se. The worst thing that'll happen is that the Bitcoin community finds out, and then there is a race for some people to sell Bitcoin and lose trust in Michael Saylor. So say if you got in and got orange pilled and convicted by Saylor, and then you find out that, yeah, he lied and doesn't have, well, actually it's kind of a gray area because it's not saying he lied. If he's buying Bitcoin from Coinbase, then that kind of falls on Coinbase, not Saylor, now that I'm thinking about this out loud. So he's going through the same steps that a person going through BlackRock ETF would be doing. Like when you're buying through these quote unquote approved exchanges and regulators out there, you're not the one at fault, so to speak. So either way, let's just go with, again, devil's advocate, worst case scenario. He doesn't have it, and people view him as lying. So I'm not going to say he lied because he's buying the Bitcoin, but let's just say he's viewed as lying. Then all that would do is cause a temporary crash in the price of Bitcoin. Like people would lose faith in Michael Saylor, and maybe some of those that got orange pilled because of him would lose faith in Bitcoin and be like, well, even Saylor doesn't have the Bitcoin he says he has. I'm getting the hell out. Well, remember, Bitcoin was around before Saylor started buying up stacks and going big into Bitcoin. So the main core thesis of, is the protocol fundamentally still secure? Has anything changed? The answer is yes, it's secure, and no, nothing's changed. So I don't actually see any of this as FUD. Like, to me, it's no big deal. So I just feel like Simply Bitcoin just blew this out of proportion. One, saying that he's advocating for holding crypto on an exchange versus self-custody, which I think he didn't say that, and they're just making that up or reading into it, inferring. And then two, if he doesn't have it, I don't think it's as big of a deal as they're making out to be, because if he's actually taking collateral from his company and going through an exchange like Coinbase and quote unquote buying Bitcoin off the exchange, which is how most of us get our Bitcoin anyway, right? We're getting it from an exchange, be it centralized or decentralized. The only step that would be missing is putting it into self-custody. Now, like I said, unless you're a multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 company under the regulations of the United States, there might be some rules that state how you can custody quote unquote securities. Like if this was, think of this as this gold, like old school gold. Who is allowed to actually hold the keys or the vault or whatever to that gold? Like if it was self-custody gold, that means you don't have it in a bank. You would have it in your own house. Who do you trust if you were part of a company to hold the gold in their house or their own safe that they created? So again, I just feel like they're blowing this up. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm reading into this, but I'd love for you guys to check out the clip from Simply Bitcoin and listen to it. And you tell me what you think. But in my humble opinion, my 2 Satoshis on this is that the absolute worst case scenario is that Bitcoin crashes due to lost trust, and then it rebounds. Like all that becomes is a buying opportunity. Who cares? Like I don't see it as a big deal in the long run, to be honest. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think, and if you watch this clip, but if not, check it out and then come back and respond on my video and let me know how your opinions towards this are. I definitely believe that all of us should self-custody, but I would be lying if I told you that I had all of my Bitcoin in self-custody. I still have some on exchanges and I haven't moved it all into cold storage. So, and there's, to be honest, again, thinking out loud, there's a large part of people that will prefer to have the exchange custody of crypto because it's the closest thing that they can wrap their head around coming from TradFi. So right now, everybody's money is stored in a bank. Most of us probably don't have all of our daily salary in cash sitting under our mattress or in a vault in our house. So people that come into crypto are going to more than likely follow those same steps. Now we know and we've seen from leverage and rehypothecation that these exchanges blew up last cycle. So it's definitely better to self-custody. However, as things go forward, I believe that having a third-party custody is going to be the solution. Like with FDIC insurance, it's going to be the way that most normies get onboarded. Imagine when iOS rolls out its own native crypto wallet, and that's going to be tied to some sort of bank or something. Like you're not going to be storing those digital assets on your phone. It'll be a native exchange or something within the Apple ecosystem. They will have the keys to that. And if something happens, they will have the FDIC insurance or customer support or whatever that you can call up and say, hey, my phone got hacked or whatever the case may be. And that's what most people want. That's what they feel safe and secure with. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Check out the video, give me your feedback, and smash that HBO special. Help brother out. Like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.